Welcome to The Explainer. So, let's talk about something that happens all the time. A brilliant idea, a ton of hard work, and then nothing. Why do so many great ventures just fizzle out? Today, we're going to dig into the traps of bad strategy, and more importantly, a framework that can actually fix it.
I want you to just sit with this quote for a second. That's from entrepreneur Alex Hormozi, and he's describing what it feels like to be on the absolute edge. You know that feeling, right? That hollowed out, gut-wrenching sensation when you're giving it everything and you're just not getting anywhere. The needle just won't move.
And why do so many smart, ambitious people end up feeling this way? I mean, it's such a common story for leaders and founders. You've got the idea, you've got the drive, but you're just stuck. Well, the answer, and this is key, almost always comes down to this massive gap between having a great idea and having a great strategy.
All right, so let's get into it. First up, the hallmarks of bad strategy. Because you can't fix a problem until you can actually name it, right? You have to diagnose it first. And for that, we're going to lean on the work of strategy guru Richard Rumelt. He gives us this amazing toolkit for spotting exactly what's broken.
And here's the thing that Rumelt argues, which is so powerful. Bad strategy isn't just nothing. It's not the absence of a good plan. No, he says it's an active illness. It's this destructive force that has its own very specific symptoms. And lucky for us, he's identified 4 big ones.
Okay, so what are these red flags? The 4 big hallmarks. First, you've got fluff. You know what I'm talking about? All those corporate buzzwords that sound super smart but are totally empty. Then, there's the failure to face the challenge. This is huge. It's when you don't even define the actual problem you're trying to solve. Third, bad strategic objectives. Just a jumble of goals that are all over the place, maybe even fighting each other. But honestly, the one that trips up almost everyone, mistaking goals for strategy. It's the most common trap of them all. Take a look at this. This is a real quote from a CEO's strategic plan. I mean, it sounds good, doesn't it? We're going to grow and grow profitably. Awesome. But how? That's not a strategy, it's a wish. It's like saying your strategy for climbing Everest is to get to the top. It tells you the destination, but it gives you absolutely no map for how to deal with the blizzards and crevasses along the way. And this slide just nails the difference. Look at the goal, increase revenue by 20%. That's a target, simple. Now look at the strategy. It's a whole different animal, isn't it? It's a coherent design. It says, okay, here's a specific group we can win with, small businesses who need stuff fast. So we're going to build everything we do around speed and flexibility. See? It's a plan of attack, not just a number on a spreadsheet. You want to see what this looks like in the real world? It often looks like a giant wish list. Get this. One city published its strategic plan, and it had 178 action items. 178! And here's the best part. Item number 122 was literally, create a strategic plan. I'm not making that up. That just screams a total failure to actually diagnose the core problem and, make some hard choices.
Okay, let's move on. If bad strategy is this inward-looking, fluffy wish list, what's the cure? Well, the antidote is a total revolution in how you think. It's about shifting your focus from what you sell to what they need. You have to get out of your own head and become completely obsessed with your buyer's world. And this isn't just some clever sales trick, it's the absolute foundation of a killer strategy.
Because let's be real, the game has totally changed. The modern buyer has all the power. They've done their homework online before they even think about talking to you. They've got a million options. And the old school sales pitch, it just doesn't work anymore. Trust and proven value are everything. The power has completely shifted to them. And this kind of shift can have absolutely jaw-dropping results. Let me tell you a story about a telecom salesperson. She was doing everything she was supposed to do, sending out tons of emails and getting a dismal 1% open rate. I mean, that's basically invisible. But instead of just trying harder or sending more emails, she did something completely different. She stopped talking and started listening. So she started digging deep into her customer's world, which was the trucking industry. And what she found was their biggest, most urgent, keep you up at night problem had literally nothing to do with what she was selling. It was cargo theft. Drivers were coming back to their trucks to find their entire payload just gone. This was a huge, costly, soul-crushing problem for them.
And this is where it gets brilliant. What did she do with that insight? She completely changed her approach. Her new email subject line wasn't about telecom features, it was, find your payloads. And the result? Her open rate skyrocketed to 16%. 16%! She went on to become the top salesperson in the entire country. Why? Because she stopped selling her product and started solving their problem.
Now that story isn't just a cool sales anecdote, It's a perfect illustration of the first and most important part of a good strategy. So the big question is, how do you do this on purpose? How do you build a coherent strategy around the right problem? Well, for that, let's go back to Rummelt's framework.
So here's Rummelt's definition of a good strategy. It's a coherent set of analyses, policies, and actions. The two big words there are coherent and actions. It's not just a dream or a vision, it's a real, tangible plan. And he breaks this whole thing down into a super simple three-part framework that he calls the kernel.
Okay, so this kernel is the core of any good strategy. It has three parts. Part 1, a diagnosis. This is you asking, what's really going on here? It's about finding that critical challenge, just like the salesperson did with cargo theft. Part 2, a guiding policy. This is your big picture approach. How are we going to overcome this challenge? Think of it like your North Star. And finally, Part 3, coherent actions. These are the specific things you're actually going to do, and they all have to work together, pushing in the same direction. This is where the plan becomes real.
And if you want a perfect example of what coherency actually looks like, check this out. Crown Cork and Seal. They did their diagnosis. They saw this opportunity. All the small businesses who needed rush orders were being ignored by the giant companies. So what was their guiding policy? To win by being faster and more flexible than anyone else. And then look at their actions. Every single one supported that policy. They built smaller plants. They kept extra capacity on hand just for rush jobs. They focused everything on quick response times. See how it all fits together? Every single piece reinforces the others, creating this powerful, focused punch.
All right, next up, making your irresistible offer. Because when you get that kernel right, when your diagnosis, your policy, and your actions all line up perfectly around a real customer problem, something amazing happens. You're not just building a strategy anymore. You're building the foundation for an offer that people can't refuse.
Think of it this way. A good strategy is basically an engine for creating value. But here's the catch. In today's world, your potential customers are probably already using something, and it's probably good enough. So just showing up and being a tiny bit better, that's not going to work. You have to be powerful enough to overcome the massive force of inertia.
So how much better do you have to be? Well, research from the Harvard iLab has an incredible answer. To get someone to change their behavior, to switch to your thing, the gain you promise has to be about 10 times the pain they're currently feeling. A 10x improvement. And you might be wondering, why so high? Because switching is a pain in itself. Learning a new system, changing how you work, that's a real cost. So your offer can't just be a little better. It has to be a whole different league.
And that brings us full circle to this quote from Alex Hormozi, which just nails it. The end goal of a great strategy isn't to just be another choice on the list. It's to make an offer so good, people would feel stupid saying no. It's about creating something so compelling that choosing you is the most obvious, smartest decision they could possibly make.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about for your own work. Is your strategy a wish list, or is it a weapon? Is it a collection of fluffy, feel-good goals, or is it a sharp, focused, coherent plan designed to solve one critical problem better than anyone else? Because honestly, that difference is everything.